Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be looking at Botswana corporate tax. We would like to start off by looking at LO1, which is Introduction to Taxation. Now, taxation, this is a compulsory levy imposed on taxpayers by the government. Are we together? Taxation in Botswana is generally imposed on any person, corporation, or individual who generates income from a source within Botswana. And when we're saying a source of income, we mean an activity or event that gives rise to income. Taxation means this is a way in which the government finances its expenditures by imposing charges on citizens and corporate entities. Now, what is a tax entity, you might be asking? Now, an entity is a person. It can be a person or a group of people who are subject to the tax laws. In other words, we are saying an entity is a taxpayer. And entities, they include individual people as well as businesses. Now, a business entity, these are such as corporations, limited liability companies, non-profit organizations, estates, trusts, partnerships, and taxpayers should have individual tax identification number, which we call the TIN number. Now, let's look at what we call flow-through entities. Now, a flow-through entity, this is a legal entity where income flows through to investors or owners. We are saying that the income of the entity is treated as the income of the investors or owners. Flow-through entities are also known as pass-through entities or fiscally transparent entities. Now, depending on the local tax regulation, this structure can avoid dividend tax and double taxation because only owners or investors are taxed on the revenue. Now, technically for tax purposes, flow-through entities are considered non-entities because they are not taxed. Rather, taxation flows through to another tax return. Are we together? Okay. Now, common types of flow-through entities, we are looking at general partnerships, limited partnerships, and limited liability partnerships. Again, most countries, they require flow-through entities or its owners to file an annual return reporting the shares of income allocated to owners and to provide each owner with a statement of allocated income to enable owners to report their shares of income on their own tax returns. Okay. Now, let's talk about the tax concepts. Now, the tax concepts, these are principles or characteristics that a good tax system should have or exhibit. And these are as follows. We have equity, we have certainty, we have convenience, and economy, and many others. But let me get into more detail in these characteristics. Now, if we're looking at equity, we are saying that the word equity, this means fairness. It is required that a tax should be imposed fairly on all taxpayers. This basically means that tax should be imposed on individuals in relation to their ability to pay. Now, the higher earners should pay more tax than the lower earners. Are we together? Those who make less income pay lower taxes, whereas those who make more income pay more taxes. This is what you find in Botswana, that the income tax laws, they demonstrate this principle. So you'll find that people earning less than 36,000 per annum are exempted from paying tax, meaning they are not supposed to pay tax on their earnings or income. Then the rate of tax chargeable progressively increases as earnings increase. This rate is from 5% through to 25% in bands of 36,000 pula. Now, if we talk about certainty, this means that the determination of the amount of tax to pay should be certain to taxpayers. It should not be left to the tax collector to determine how much a taxpayer should pay. What we're saying is that the time when tax should be collected and paid must also be certain to the taxpayer. In the same manner of payment should also be known to the taxpayers. Are we together? Now, if we're looking at convenience, we're saying that the collection and payment of tax must be easy or convenient. It's usually easy to collect tax from payers at the time that income is earned. So we're saying at the end of each month, tax is collected. For example, if you're looking at pay as you earn, it is deducted by the employer at source or before the taxpayer is paid his or her salary. Okay. Now, if we're looking at economy, we're saying that the cost of collecting and administering tax should not be significant in relation to the tax revenue collected. Are we together? Now, we also would like to look at the overall function and purpose of taxation in a modern economy. This is where we're looking at why do we pay our taxes. There are so many reasons why we pay our taxes. But remember, we say that if the money or the tax revenue is used to fund government expenditures. Are we together? Now, there's so many reasons why taxes are collected. To raise revenue, for repricing, redistribution of wealth and income. And also, taxes are mainly used to finance the expenses incurred by government to manage an economy. So these expenses include healthcare, education, garbage collection, and operating government business entities. Taxation is also used by the government for several other purposes, such as to reduce pollution by taxing offending firms, to discourage unhealthy lifestyles. For example, if you're looking at tax on cigarettes, to protect local and infant industries by taxing imports. And then the other thing is to achieve greater equality of wealth and income. Are we together? Now, revenue from taxation is used to help the very poor. For example, if when the government is providing food stamps to the poor.